So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WNR Body Transformation podcast. Today, we got a really special guest. He used to be he used to be the golden era bodybuilder back in the 70s. He's a 1994 Masters Olympia, and he's got 25 bodybuilding titles under his belt. Phenomenal physique. He's still in good shape at the age of 79, and he looks pretty tremendous for his age. His knowledge is timeless, and for the listeners out there, you guys are in for a treat. I hope that was a good of an introduction, sir.
Say again?
I hope that was a good for. I hope that was
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's cool. No problem.
awesome, awesome. So yeah, we get a couple of questions, and then we'll probably freestyle a little
Hmm.
bit. But the first topic I'd like to cover is back in the days when you trained with Arnold, with Mike Menzer, Samir Vinod, etc. During the golden era time, like how was the nutritional approach in the golden era? Like, would you guys track your calories? Would you guys stick to meal plans, or would you just eyeball food portions basically?
None of that existed. You just ate. Nobody thought about calories, supplements, glutamine, creatine. It wasn't even in the mix. It
Okay,
was not there. The bodybuilders at that time would use it. I mean, they used it because you read a lot about Vince Carronda. I did, okay? But the bodybuilders back in those days, I mean, no disrespect to the people that was putting bodybuilding out there to the world, but nobody used the weed or supplements. Nobody used that stuff. Only the people that used it were the people that thought that we were using it.
yeah,
We did not use supplements. There were no supplements. We ate a lot more eggs, chicken, a little beef, but that beef was only on leg and back days. So we didn't eat a lot of anything. I was probably the one that ate the most, I guess, say at that point, as non organic as you possibly could. Okay, we didn't have diets. There was we only ate 3 meals a day, not seven, eight, 4,000 calories. Nobody even thought about calories. We just ate healthy food 3 times a day. That was it.
okay. So like when it came to prepping for a competition, basically when you guys are trying to drop body fat, you guys were
We,
just relying on internal. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. That was really no. It's when I hear you asking me these questions, I have to smile because we didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
We train twice a day. On that day, after we get through training, we go lay in the sun on Venice Beach.
yeah.
And then we go back to the gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to train the second body part. So we did definitely indulge in all the things that's going on today. I think they kind of modified it in a sense that's really causing a lot of problem health issues with the bodybuilding community.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like when it came to like different phases, let's probably say like the off season, you guys would just rely on your internal cues, like I'm just gonna eat till I feel full. And when it came
Yeah,
to prepping for a competition, yeah, like you guys were
yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
just gonna
exactly. That
I'm just
was
gonna be
no,
as hungry as possible. That basically was it.
yeah, I mean, we just ate food. We didn't even think, we didn't weigh the amount of protein. We didn't even think about that. It was not even in the mix. I never heard Arnold, Franco, Kenny Waller, Denny Gable, any of those people sitting and talking to me about how many calories did you eat today? Did you get enough meat? How many meals are you eat a day? It was just not, it didn't exist. Sitting here talking about it, it's a big smile on my face because I'm thinking, wow, has it changed that much? And it has.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, because I heard on one of your podcasts with Artemis Dolgin back in the day that like back in the day you guys would not have like calorie tracking etc. But like now you started measuring your meals basically. So is that something that you still do these days? What's that like?
No, no, I probably eat about 4 meals a day.
Okay, and what do you
Okay.
mean?
I don't, yeah, I eat about 4 meals a day, healthy snacks, but not a lot of, I don't eat a lot of food. I have never been a heavy eater. I got into that more back in I'm gonna say in the mid 80s, 80 from 80 probably something to 1994. After that, I won the Masters and retired. So I really not a heavy eater. I was always naturally muscular. I had that same body that a lot of people saw when I came out here. I already had 20-inch arms,
Yeah.
28, 29-inch waist. I already had all of that. So it was basically genetics for my mom and my pop.
Yeah.
So when I got out here with all of them, my body just exploded with muscle because
Yeah.
I was already training 100 reps of body part 6 days a week. So the body was already there.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go in there and try to build 20-inch arms and build a 29-inch waist, 28-inch waist, 50-inch chest. I already had it.
Yeah.
And see, today, everybody try to build this and do this and shoot this and shoot that and inject this and ingest that. That's not what we were doing.
Yeah.
It was more bodybuilding, eating 3 meals a day. We didn't think of drinking a gallon of water a day. I don't even think anybody even thought about all that.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the mix.
No, that's beautiful to hear. Now,
Yeah, I love that time period because it was more natural.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing like that really caught my eye was when, no, my ears, but you said that you guys would eat a lot of, not a lot, but you guys would increase your consumption of red meat on days when you guys would probably train like back and legs. Is it because,
Exactly.
is it because you guys would be training like a bigger body part because of which you need more like calorically dense and more nutrient dense foods? Or what was the rationale behind it as to why you guys would do that?
There wasn't really a lot of knowledge. Nobody really talked. Joe Weider didn't train anybody, guy. He
Okay.
didn't come in there and train, oh, Robbie, do this, do that. That's not that. That was all what you call it, a platform. He just used that. You can walk into the gym and say, Robbie, let's hit double bicep. And then you just hit it because you knew it would probably end up in the magazine anyway. That was nobody actually. The only thing that we did consistently, I think, was eating those meals throughout the day. Nobody counted calories or protein amounts. We did not consume a gallon of water a day. None of that existed. We just drink, 8 glasses of water a day.
Okay.
But that wasn't even a part of the mix either. It was just something that we started doing, or I started doing pretty much.
Hmm.
Your bodybuilding at the time to me when I look back on it now, almost going into my 80 years, it was beautiful. I loved it. And I still love it to this day. I love to go in that gym and battle. It's
That's
fun
beautiful.
for me.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. In fact, I've got like,
Mm-hmm.
one of your photos, like back in the day when I first started bodybuilding. I had one of your photos stuck on my wall. I'm like, if I want to emulate someone's physique, it's Robbie's physique, like beautiful waist. So yeah, like, sorry, excuse, I'm still fanboying. It's crazy. But I've got another
Oh, no,
question.
that's okay. There's no problem wrong with that.
Yeah, like I've got another question. When it came to training, like obviously, like the evolution of training in the 90s, basically, that's when Dorian came on the scene. And
Mm-hmm.
and in like from the mid 80s till the late 90s, that's when the heavy duty style came in the scene with Mike Menzer's training philosophies and Dorian's training philosophies and Lee
Mm-hmm.
Labrada's training philosophies. But what was your training philosophy back in the day, and what was like the other guys' training philosophies back in the day, like Arnold, Franco, Samir's training philosophies? I'm just curious to know about that.
It really wasn't a training philosophy because if when I came out here, I was doing the whole body, 100 reps, each muscle group, each training session.
Hmm.
See, I would be in that gym for probably 3 hours. My lack of knowledge, I just love to work out. I didn't think in terms of time. I just went in that gym and killed it every workout. 100 reps of bicep, 100 reps of tricep, biceps and tricep, 100 reps of chest, back, legs. Everything was bombed.
Yeah,
Every I think about it sometimes I must have been a nutcase every workout. But
yeah,
that's what worked for me at that point. So when I came out here 75, working with those guys was easy, really. I was still using the same weight they were using. And to be honest with you, I didn't have a clue that it was steroids. I didn't know that you had to use steroids to build your physique because I already had my physique.
yeah,
But then when I came out here, I realized I was looking at the guys, checking them out and we were working out, and I said, I wonder what they're using, at this point.
Yeah.
The mind changes over because you're in a new environment and you see all these guys all puffed up and you're wondering what's going on. But nobody told me that you had to use steroids. I didn't know that until 2 weeks before the Mr. World.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the guy came up to me that ran the gym and said, Robert, what are you using? I said, what are you talking about? I was that kind of young and dumb.
Yeah.
And he said, come back this afternoon. And so I came back that afternoon and I got a shot of what they call at that point Trimobolin Depot. It's an anabolic.
Yeah.
That's the first time I took it, 1975, 2 weeks before the Mr. World.
Yeah.
And not having what they call it, my blood work done. I didn't even know you had to do this.
Yeah.
So I had the blood work done. You're supposed to get this blood work done, but I didn't know anything about all of that.
Yeah.
Once I took the shot, I walked from Gold's Gym. I still live 1.5 blocks from Gold's Gym, old Gold's Gym. I
Yeah.
live right off of the beach in Venice. So I walked from Gold's Gym down the streets to Wynwood Village, where I live, was my apartment. I hit the front door and collapsed.
Yeah.
I went into what you call it, almost like I was, I guess, dying because as black as my skin was, I turned gray. My girlfriend at this point drug me in the house, put me in a tub, put me in a bathtub, and turned on cold water, saved my life.
Yeah.
So people out there that are using all these substances, you don't have a clue what is happening internally. I think you should, if you're going to go that route, go to a doctor, get the information on it, know to what your blood work is, find out if you have any kind of disease or health issues.
Yeah.
But today nobody does that. They just go in and start taking the anabolics, and I don't think that's a safe thing to do for a person that has not used that substances.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did hear that, and like there was one like I was listening to some of your podcasts, and you also said that you got a health condition because of which you're really opposed against steroids, right?
I'm not opposed against it, but I just think you have to think about it. Steroids is only increases the amount of water that's in the body.
Yeah.
If you notice, all the pros, Dorian Yates, Lee Haney, 8-time Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia, all those people now look like they've never lifted a weight in their life.
Yeah.
And see, that comes from the fact that water build up and all the heavy intensity reps and sets and all the food and meals and heavy weight and lightweight and reps, and that caused that. The body, steroids is only a cosmetic.
Yeah.
And it should be used, I think it should be used a lot less than more. From what I see today, you got 25 bodybuilders die from health issues. It don't make sense to me. Makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I've been in this business my whole life. I started working out when I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in bodybuilding, weight training my whole life. And the only health issue that I've had was the situation where I got take the shot and not know anything about it. Know how that steroids can kill you, can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that we're probably going to dig in a little bit deeper on that one because you
Go
also
ahead.
because you probably said like yeah, steroids make you retain a lot of fluid, and most of that fluid would be intramuscular. So which is where your rationale comes. Instead of like blasting grams of steroids, why don't you simply push your water intake up to 8 liters per day, basically, because your cell structure is going to be fluid. So like, how did you figure this out, basically, where you're gonna like really push your water intake up when it came to bodybuilding?
I've never been the kind of person that ate like 3,000, 4,000 calories. I think all those calories really don't turn over into really muscle, because I think if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, the body should be able to build muscle if you have a good weight training program. Okay, today you have this glutamine, creatine, arginine, L-citrulline, amino energy, amino acids.
Yep.
I'm doing that more now than I have ever done in my life. But when I don't do it, I can feel the difference when I don't use those substances. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not on steroids anymore. I'm just going in the gym with what I have, and I'm able to maintain my physique because I keep doing the work.
Yep.
The bodybuilders today, those guys don't have that. I guess I don't say they don't have it. They just don't want to go in there and indulge in it. They got problems with the joints. Some of them have their own little minor health issues. They really don't want to go in that gym and go in there and kill it like I do. I love to go in there and kill it. Every muscle group, every body part. I don't want to go in there and push it for the just do the work. I want to go in there and still have fun and be able to create and to keep maintain my physique. And I'm proud of that because I've been able to maintain it. I'm going into my 80 years. If I really got in there and start taking antibiotics again, which I won't, I could still compete. That was my whole thing. I wanted to come out of bodybuilding healthy,
Yeah.
in good health, good shape. I don't have any injuries. So I think I'm in a good place to continue to doing what I enjoy doing, and that's working out, building muscle.
No, that's beautiful because I've seen it like with regards to today's bodybuilding, like people are not even training heavy, to be honest. Like they are not even like pushing it hard inside the gym. It's just like 45 minutes, bam, in and out. And people are like far too concerned but when I see videos of you, Arnold, training, you guys would like literally like kill it inside the gym. So that's actually nice to hear. But I've got another question on the back of that because you mentioned like the first time you did hop on and get enhanced. Like you were given a shot of primobolan basically, but today's bodybuilders they usually use like a test base, and then they add on like primobolan, mastron, etc. on top of that basically. So if you're open to talking about it, what would
Oh
like the
yeah,
steroid cycles be? Like how would the steroid cycles be back in the golden era bodybuilding days, and how's it right now? Because far too many people these days lose their hair, whereas you guys, even though you guys would be enhanced, you guys would still have your hair basically. So how would the cycles be different back then relative to right now, basically? I'm just curious to know about that.
you know what I can say to you and say to all the fans that are listening to this podcast is that steroids only enhance the muscles up to a certain point, and then you got to use more. But that more doesn't really terminate over into muscle. What I've seen, 400 milligrams of testosterone, bruh, your body is not going to even be able to break that down. It's going to cause more damage than good. This is what I feel about it. It doesn't make sense to go into the gym and and it doesn't make sense to go in there and work out and then take all these added drugs. I don't really. I think it's just a waste of money. Let me share something with you guys out there. Decadorobin is the only drug that's going to build your muscle. The rest of that stuff, you have to keep recycling it, coming off it, recycling it, recycling it. What do you think happened to the liver, the kidneys, the heart, the liver, the spleen, the bones, the joints, the connective tissue, the heart? I mean, that's why I think just a lot of the guys are dying. That's what it is. They're pushing, 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 but the steroids is only used as a cosmetic. Decadorobin stays in your body for 2 years. Now, why would you take that stuff back to back? It makes no sense to me. Testosterone stays in your body for 3 months. Masteron for 3 months. Winter V, you're only supposed to use that stuff for probably 3 weeks to 2 weeks. You take it the last 2 weeks to make. Sean Ray got busted off the Winter V when he competed in the Arnold Classic because they drug tested at that time. But what got me out of all of that, we all used Winter V 2 weeks before the show. Now, why was Sean Ray the only one busted? Think about that now. I used it. Why wasn't I busted? I didn't get busted for it. I came in fourth after that. Remember? See, people think these drugs are forever. No, they're in your body for 3 months. Yeah, all of that stuff. Testosterone is you got to take more. So why take more when you know that it's not going to increase the amount of muscle on your body? Hard work, the basic exercise, healthy meals. Okay, today supplementations that plays a role into all of that. But if you're not out there trying to think steroids are going to build your body,
Yeah.
you're waiting casualty. It does not work. Sorry. You got to work. Those basic exercises, you have to execute those basic exercises day after day after day after day, year after year after year, week after week to week. You have to do that. You're not going to build muscle taking steroids. That's just a short time period. You got how many months, weeks, say 90 days. That should be it. After this, you should come off that stuff, not keep taking it so you can look good and feel good and be manly. Be manly without it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's my concept of it. I don't use steroids anymore. I wouldn't use it. What I do, I go to Dr. Rand and I get what they call it intravenous feedings. That means you take all those glutamine, creatine, amino acid, minerals into your bloodstream. You're given this thing probably every 2 weeks. So the body now can, in a sense, still build muscle. I look the way I look because I put in the work on top of all of that. Yes, I eat what, 4 times a day? That's the most. Sometimes 3 times a day. You understand what I'm saying? But I eat wholesome organic meals 3 to 4 times a day. And I drink my now almost a gallon, 3 liters and a half water a day. But I take all the glutamine, creatine along that back with the intermittent feeding. So and I take a lot of anabolics through herbal formulas like Don Quack. Don Quack balances your hormones and stuff like this. You got like what is a sulfate matter is almost like a steroid. See, but people think all this stuff doesn't work. I've proven this work because I've been able to maintain my physique. Everybody thinks that I'm on drugs. Nah, I wouldn't do that to myself. I'm almost 80 years old. There's no sense for me to impress anybody. I want to have a long, healthy life for the rest of my life. My goal is 100.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's where I'm going. I'm almost at 80. Next year I'll be 80. Then I'm thinking, okay, I can make it to 80, 85, 90. That's just what I'm going. I'm going for longevity. I work more now toward longevity. And that's what I want to do. I'm in the process of having a supplement line, Robby Robinson longevity supplement line, where we'll go live in Dubai, Germany, Holland, America, and other places throughout, the world. But I'm in a position now where I can empower the minds of others that longevity is important. So once this RR longevity supplement line goes live, I will definitely keep you updated on it.
Absolutely. And once when it goes live, I mean, just let me know. I'll probably put it in the links below so that people can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. No problem at all.
Yeah. Now, so I also wanted to ask you, like back then, what sort of supplements you probably take? Obviously, keeping in mind, like the person's training is on point, the person's nutrition is on point. So I'm not talking about steroids, but like supplements like fish oils, magnesium, zinc, etc. So what sort of supplements would you guys take back in the day? Or you guys wouldn't take anything?
I mean, I could be honest with you. We didn't take them. I didn't know anything about all of this yet. See, I'm just young, 23, 24 years old when I came out here in 1975.
Yeah.
Nobody told me that you had to use all these supplements. Boyer Cole was the first person that introduced me to creatine and glutamine. He was the first one to send me because he had his own products at that point.
Yeah.
So Boyer Cole was almost like a motivator, a person that gave me my first posing trunks. You understand what I'm saying? So Boyer Cole was the person that educated me and filled me in on supplementation. I had no clue that kind of stuff. Either. I just thought you ate your meat, chicken, fish, rice, vegetables, fish. I had even a clue about tuna fish and all this stuff. But I ate more because I grew up in the swamps. I made a lot more fish, chicken, beef, uh, eggs, vegetables. That was basically my whole foundation. I
Yeah.
had no clue about, supplementation, none whatsoever.
So
It
there was
wasn't there yet.
so there was no vegetarian bodybuilder back in the day, right?
Say again?
So there was no vegetarian bodybuilder back in the day, right?
No, I mean, we didn't even, I mean, no disrespect to Joe Weed and his foundation and his company. Nobody used it. We did not use that. That stuff was in the magazine with our pictures of people like yourself, young. I would hate to use this word, not knowledgeable or not educated enough to know that, hey, that's just a picture. I never took the products in my life. Never used weed product. Never used. The only products I had used before that was from Boyer Cole.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I never saw all of them taking protein drinks in the gym after they train. I was at his house. I never saw weed product in his house. So people got that wrong. That was all what you call it, in a sense, falsified
Yeah.
information. Yeah.
Got
And
it.
people were buying that stuff, taking it, thinking it's going to. That was not the case. Sorry.
Got it. No, that's amazing. So, sir, like, what is it that you do for longevity right now? Like
Mm-hmm.
around your training, around your nutrition, not for bodybuilding, but to live up to your goal of living till 100. Like, what's your longevity protocol like at the moment?
As I say, I'm using glutamine, creatine, L-citrulline, arginine, amino acids, amino energy. I take that twice a day. Scoop of each one of those in probably a quart of water. I do that twice a day. On top of that, I drink a lot more. I eat my 4 to 5 meals per day. That's what I do. And I've been able to maintain my physique. And I think, in a sense, because of the fact that I've been able to consistently go in that gym, train 4 to 5 days a week, and maintain my physique. That's what I've done. It's no big secret. I'm not willing to go back and take any kind of anabolics because I don't think there's a lot of in today's bodybuilding. There's not a lot of money in it,
Yeah.
and for me to see how the guys are actually executing themselves to become picture in the magazine or have a photograph with in the magazine, it makes no sense to me. No disrespect to them, but you got to really think about the most important thing, my friend, is health. When you can have $1 million, if your health is bad, that $1 million has no meaning.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for you, but hopefully help keep you alive. But to me, I think my health is the most important thing. I'm
Got it.
like a total advocate of being healthy at this point in my life. And I feel so, I'm almost 80, but I feel so young. I
Yeah.
don't feel like an 80, 79-year-old man. When people see me, they say, Robby, I love the way you walk and carry yourself. And I said, thank you. Because I wanted to look and feel young as I got older. So really, I think that I've been able to accomplish that because I think what you think, you become. What you do, you become. If you think negative, negative is going to come. If you believe in yourself, positive things can happen. Everything that you do determines what your life is going to be like. I think being positive is the most important thing. Seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's really inspiring to hear that, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like, I also wanted to ask you, like, back in the day, you guys would train and then stay at the beach, and that basically was your recovery. But like right now, we got all of these things like sauna and all of that. So, how would you guys manage your recovery back in the day? Let's probably say if you'd be overtraining in the gym, you
You
probably
know,
train to the
yeah,
point where. Sorry, go ahead.
back in those days, we would go to the gym and we would train chest in the morning, back in the afternoon. And then another time we would train shoulders in the morning, biceps in the afternoon. And the next day we train uh, quads in the morning, hamstring and calves after the afternoon. So we only train 3 days a week.
That was during the off
And
season,
then
During the
That's even in the off season. We train 3 days a week, and then we would take a day off. 3 days a week, you take a day off. You see what I'm saying? So a day, everybody goes in there in the gym 4, 5, 6 times a day, 5 times, at least 5 times. I see guys in the gym 5 times a day. I mean, 4 times in a week. And to me, I think that's way overtraining. I think if you go in that gym and you uh, take it, take that each body part to a certain level twice a day, you're probably going to build more muscle. You're probably going to be able to sustain your body without having injury. You know, I've never had any injury to my elbows, and to my wrists, and to my shoulders, to my lower back, and to my knees. I've never had this. And I think it's also because of practicing exercise form and technique. All of that plays a role in that longevity thing. So what I'm seeing today, I think people are doing way too much. I
yeah,
think it should be cut back and go back to what we were doing in the old days. And I think you'll find a lot of bodybuilders. You find more healthier bodybuilders. Is my understanding of it.
yeah,
I think, as I said to you earlier, bodybuilding is about health. Weight training is about health. Um, and very few people practice that. You know, it's they think that you can go on forever. You're not a machine. You're a human being.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Now, I'm just a bit curious. Back in the day, bodybuilding, right? You guys
Mm-hmm.
would do it from a place of like you guys love it, but it was
I
not.
love it.
Yeah, it was not like a full-time job. So, like from
No.
what I read in the New Modern Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, Arnold would
Mm-hmm.
do a construction job along with Franco. So,
Yeah.
so bodybuilding was not a well-paying job back in the day. It was not even a job. It was more of like a hobby, which you guys are passionate about. So, how would you guys manage your career along with bodybuilding? Like, what would you do basically, and what would the other guys do basically back in the day?
No, I'll share a piece of dark part of my life. When I came here in 1975, I slept on top of Gold's Gym because Joe Weider wouldn't give me a contract because of, as he said, because he didn't give black guys contract.
Yeah,
So I stayed and slept on top of Gold's Gym right down here the street in 2 cardboard boxes, plastic cover those boxes, a pillow and a blanket. I slept there until I made my first cover shot. Well, see, once I made my first cover shot, everybody wanted to see this new big black guy.
yeah,
So all of a sudden, now I'm on the cover of that magazine worldwide. It was one of the best-selling muscle magazines. I was booked to do exhibitions and seminars all over the United States. And that's how I was able to make a living because I didn't have a job. Okay, there was no job for me. I trained. Once I lift us up on top of gym, I would get off a top of Gold's Gym every morning, come down the ladder, walk right down the streets here from my apartment where I still live in the German restaurant. Have my chicken, eggs, and mushroom and spinach omelet. I do that every single morning. That was the first meal. Then I would go back and lay in the boxes until everybody came to the gym by 9 o'clock. We were always in the gym probably by 9. We would go in there and train a muscle group. After that, we would go down and lay on Venice Beach. After that, we would come back and train about 2. After that, I would go back to the German restaurant. This time, probably have chicken breast and rice or chicken breast and baked potatoes, steamed broccoli. I would go back, lay there and sleep, and that's what would be the end of my day, pretty much. It was just not a lot of what you see going on today. It was not there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And look at how far you've come. It's very inspiring. You know, like you got your own supplement line. You're traveling the world, so that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still doing it. I will leave from here probably in another month, and I'm on my way to Switzerland, Sweden, Germany, Holland, and I will be like making appearances at these different gyms and doing what is it? They call it like seminars, and
Yeah,
then I'll be there, and then I go back to my home in Germany. I will stay there and work with clients that come to me to the master's class, and I work with them. And I'm paid a lot of money. I mean, you got a person come to me now and want to get in shape. It costs you $17,500 per 90 days,
hmm
and then I have like one, two, three, four. I think I have 8 clients now that pays me that kind of money. I was never able to make that kind of money when I first came into bodybuilding. There's no way possible.
Yeah.
So, but today, because people want to get in shape and learn the old school way, I'm able to teach them through the master's class. So that's what I've been doing. And, I still love doing it. You know, I've been able to work and save my money, have a beautiful home in Germany, a beautiful home in Holland. So honestly, I feel blessed. I really feel blessed, seriously.
That's amazing. That's
Yep. And I feel healthy. That was the most important thing for me to come out of there with no heart issues, kidney issues, liver problems. I didn't want to have any health issues. So when I came out of bodybuilding, I immediately came off of the antibiotics. And to this day, I have not taken, I went on more of a health regime where I would relearn my body. As I say, I still go to Dr. Rand, who actually helped me keep my body nutrient levels high. I still go in that gym and I train 4 to 5 days a week. I still do my aerobics. So I think all those practices, even going into almost my 79, 80 years, I think that's what makes me feel so young.
yeah.
And I'm honored to say that. I feel so young. Sometimes I'm embarrassed, you know, I feel a twinge of pain when I see people my age. They're bent over, can hardly walk. They can't even pick their feet up to step up on the curb. I'm watching this guy sitting at a coffee shop right across the street here, and it sometimes it makes me sad because I'm thinking, wow, Robinson, you blessed.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, I have no health issue. I was concerned about it. That was one of the things I was concerned about it because I did use the antibiotics. I don't tell people don't take it. I tell you, go and get what your get yourself examined. Have a doctor go and get your blood work done.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, oh, don't take steroids. I take them because I took them. I use them. I use them throughout my bodybuilding career for 27 years, but I only used them for 8 weeks. And I really do think that was what saved my body, saved my mind. No dementia, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. I have no injuries. So I feel blessed. Seriously, I think I did the right thing. I hate to say that, but I think I did the right thing in my processing going into bodybuilding and coming out of bodybuilding. I think a good blessing was I realized that steroids can hurt you. They can cause you health problems, health issues. I learned that very on, and I said to myself, this stuff is dangerous. So I'm going to only take it for 8 weeks. And that's what I did throughout my career. And I really do think that had a built a foundation where I wouldn't come out of it with any kind of health issues. I really do believe that.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's super nice to hear. And so I also wanted to ask you, like in Pumping Iron, I saw Arnold sitting on the couch and smoking some weed, basically, and I saw you dancing. So, like, would like bodybuilders in the golden era back in the day, how would they unwind? Would they like smoke some weed? Would they like have some alcohol? Would they have like cheat meals? Or how would you guys relax, basically, back in the day? So if you're open to talk.
How would we what?
So, how would you guys relax back in the day, basically? Like, I saw Arnold smoking some weed in Pumping Iron. I saw,
Mm-hmm.
I saw would you guys have like cheat meals, and would you guys have like alcohol, or what was that like back in the day?
No, I never drink alcohol in my life.
Never had
I
it.
don't. I just never did those kind of things. Yeah, back in those days, yeah, of course, marijuana was in the mix, but I just hadn't got into that level at that point. I never drank in my life. I grew up in that kind of environment. My parents owned a juke joint, and I saw how alcohol affected people. I saw what it did to my mom and my father. Okay, and they came out of it both with health issues. So I never drink in my life. I've never had a drink of alcohol. But I can share with you. I've never had a drink of alcohol in my life. I've never, what you call it, had a McDonald's in my life, Big Mac, order fries,
Mhm.
Coke. I've never drank Coca-Cola, none of that kind of stuff in my whole life. So I think that in a sense set a foundation with for my whole life. that I've never eaten any of this junk food or processed. I don't eat junk processed food. I eat everything straight from the farmer's market. Wednesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. That's where I buy all my food straight from the farm. I don't go to a grocery market and shop. Ralph's and all these places, Gelson. I don't do this. I go to the farm. That way I know it's fresh, straight from the farm. Meat, beef, chicken, egg, vegetables, tomatoes, corn, whatever I want. I go to the market and buy it. I don't buy food from a grocery market.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Like, hats off to you for your discipline, you know? Now,
Yeah, but because that's what it is. That's what bodybuilding is about, discipline,
yeah,
making changes. If you're not disciplined, how do you expect to get results? If you don't have a positive mindset, what do you expect to happen? I wrote this piece. I said, small minds cannot comprehend big spirits. You have to have a big spirit.
yeah,
To be great, you have to be willing to be mocked and picked at and hated and misunderstood. Stay strong. Keep going. Listen to the voices in your head, your intuition. That's God speaking to you.
yeah,
That's how I have lived my life.
yeah,
Shallow waters are noisy. Deep waters are silent. When you hear people, yeah, talking about this and talking about that, but talking about this person, talking about that person, get rid of them. Move on. Silence is the key to longevity in life. The rest of that stuff does not count.
absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely. No, that's beautiful. That's very inspiring to hear. Now, one
Yep.
last question, because obviously,
Okay.
yeah, one last question, because obviously we're running
Mm-hmm.
slightly long. We still have like another minute.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask, let's probably say if someone wants to compete and they want to go down the route of taking steroids, basically, how long do you suggest someone should be training naturally with like proper nutrition dial in, with like proper training dial in, before they even jump on steroids, basically? Like, how long do you suggest? Like 5 years, 10 years with proper nutrition? Or what's your take on it? What do you suggest to your clients, basically?
I'm about to go into working with a client um, that I've worked with him probably he's in Florida. I do it, train with that person online, and I dictate to him what I want him to do. He already has the foundation, the physical foundation. So what I want to do is go in there and beat up on that physique. You know, you only need to take enhancements for 90 days. If you already got that genetic base, you go in there with that hard work for 90 days. He's won 2 competitions, NPC competition. He won best poser twice. Posing is the only thing that's going to shape your body. All that lifting and curling and squatting and leg pressing, that's just to help build that foundation of muscle. You have to go in there and put in the work. You can't go in there and expect that body to replicate itself taking steroids. You have to come in there with the physique foundation. Because so that's what I did. I already had the foundation. So now I'm now training with Arnold Schwarzenegger, 6-time Miss Olympia, Ed Corney, top competitor, Franklin Colombo, the strongest man in the world, Kenny Waller, the strongest bodybuilder I've ever seen. And so I was in an environment where all I had was motivation, motivation, motivation. And so I worked within that whole field of motivation. I think it's you have to go in there with that foundation. You need to have someone that knows exactly what to do, when to do it, how long to do it, how often to do it. Today, everybody just train because they think they can build this awesome physique. It does not work like that. You got to stick with the basic exercises. You have to do that. You stick with those basic bench press, incline press, dumbbell flies. You have to do that. You have to squat. Without squatting, you cannot build a completely strong overall body. You have to have that weight on your shoulders. You have to do this. You have to do squat, leg extension, leg curls. Those are the basics. You have to do bicep curls, Scott bench curls, tricep presses, tricep dips off a bench, dumbbell kickbacks, tricep press down. Those are all the basics. You have to do chins to the front, chins to the back. You you have to do the Chiro bar, long pulley. Those are all the basics in that set. If you gear in all those basics, You can build an awesome physique. I've already proven that. And I still do those basics. I haven't changed and got fancy. You stick with the basics, then you're gonna have an incredible body your whole life. That's what I believe, because that's what I'm seeing on my physique. I still stand right here in my room, by side my bed, and pose. The more you pose, the more shapely the physique becomes. As a matter of fact, I have a posing thing coming up right after I get through with you online with a client that's down in San Diego. You see what I'm saying? I tell him, Point, you got to work those poses. Those 7 poses create the overall physique. If you came to me and I work with you on your poses, I can guarantee you have more confidence on stage. You're more self-assured. Your muscles going to pop out at the judges instead of just looking flat, because that's what it is. The more you pose, the more shapely the physique is. The shape doesn't come from just the fact you're going there doing the curl. Okay, genetic base, along with all that posing. Now you're going to see an Arnold Schwarzenegger, Robby Robinson, Franco Colombo, Dorian Yates, Lee Haney. How many times Lee won the Olympia? Lee came to me for training advice. Yeah, I told him the scope. He won it 8 times. Because it's all working and keeping those basic, keeping it normal. You don't have to go in there and kill yourself. Tear your knees, back, shoulders. I've never had an injury in my life. So I think it's all methodically done. You should do all that methodically. Stick with the basics. Get trained, work with someone that knows, excuse my language, what the hell they're doing. Don't just get out there and expect results if you don't have the knowledge to have someone around you that can help you expedite that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. I'm going to be plugging in your links below in my bio with regards to your coaching, with regards to your supplement line. So just feel free to send them to me
Oh,
later.
yeah, definitely. Stay online and I'll keep you updated on it
Yeah,
and share it with you. Yep.
I'll send
Thanks
you.
for having me on this podcast. I deeply appreciate it. You can always come back to me if you want to talk or get some knowledge. I'll share it with you. I don't want no money. I'll be glad to work with you and educate you and encourage you. When you come back to me and leave me a message, I'll always get back to you guys.
That's an
Okay.
absolute pleasure. But
Okay.
you've been very generous with your time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I want you to know that door is open for you. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. So,
Thank you, guys.
with regards to the YouTube plug, if you can just say this is Robby Robinson and I'm the Black Prince, with regards to the editing, that would be really, really great.
Okay. Hello to all my fans in Dubai. This is Robby Robinson, the Black Prince. Have an awesome day.
All right, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, guy.